Uh-oh. What's up, YouTube? Robert, no, can't do it. Can't bring myself to call myself the monster. Because the only monster part about this pay-per-view, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that I got my ass handed to me in a monstrous fashion. Thanks to two matches.
No, not two matches. You only got one match completely right. Two matches completely right.
Yep. I was down, but I got trounced, ladies and gentlemen. So I am not even gonna deign to respond to my moniker.
What's up, guys? This is the Heavy Metal Hippie. I started the mosh pit. He's the monster on the stage. This is the Monsters in the Mosh Pit. We are reviewing Hell in a Cell.
Absolutely earned that
Stole
intro.
it.
Good job. Thank you. Tonight we are going to be covering this Sunday's WWE Hell in a Cell. I've been practicing pay-per-view. Thank you. It came from just down the road in San Antonio. Yours truly being a native of the great state of Texas and a denizen of the World Series winning Houston Astros. Love them. Hopefully they'll repeat this year. But I had thought about there for a while going to this pay-per-view and sitting in the crowd, but as is common with most WWE shows, it was rather prohibitively expensive. So
yeah, we're not going to talk about how much money I spent on this SmackDown ticket.
Oh yeah, no, worth it. Let's get right in, because the pre-show had so much fucking filler that I couldn't even stand. So I'm not even going to acknowledge it.
You have to acknowledge pre-show because there was a championship match on it.
Well, no. I'm going to acknowledge the match. I'm not going to acknowledge the rest of the fucking the pre-show. Fuck that. It's not worth my time.
Well, the pre-show's only there to hype up the main card for the most part.
Well, that's fine, but having 2 or 3 pre-show matches in an hour is fine. That's how it should be. You get a little something, get you ready for a good night of wrestling. And I actually have to say I kind of disagree with Simon from What Culture, because I checked out his ups and downs. I hated this match. I absolutely hated it. It had good points, but I feel like the moment they could have hit the next gear and taken it from a SmackDown match to a good pay-per-view match, they decided to go on ahead and end it. They had time. They could have kept going. And to see this match kind of accidentally stop the way that it did, and I use accidentally stop with air quotes here, was to me on one hand insulting, because I was expecting a storyline here, and basically what we got was a SmackDown tag team match.
Going to disagree, but we can get to the... Oh, wait, you're talking about the pre-show again.
Yep, still talking about the pre-show.
I hopped right into the main match because I'm a little on that still.
Oh, no. We'll get there. And believe me, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go to the first match yet.
You think I want to go there?
Oh, okay. You know what? Hell with it. The pre-show match was basically a SmackDown tag team match in which the New Day retain over Aiden English and Rusev of Rusev Day. It really wasn't anything special, and there was no storyline that said that, hey, we're going to break up Rusev Day, as has been feared and thought was to be the case for many, many months. It was like, oh, this is going to be the final straw that breaks the camel's back that's going to separate Aiden from Rusev, and it wasn't. It was just a good match where the two of them had a little bit of miscommunication, and it ended up being fine. Now, we're going to go on ahead and get into our first of two Hell in the Cell matches. Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton.
So first of all, these are two very big names that are being associated with this Hell in a Cell match. So, and knowing that Jeff Hardy is a spot monkey and Randy Orton has been looking very good in the ring as of late, my expectations were pretty high for this match. You already knew that Jeff was going to throw out some crazy move like he ended up doing.
Oh, yeah.
But you also know that Orton is equally known for, while Jeff is the high flyer, Orton is that sadistic person that will use the cage to his advantage. But while this match had a couple really cool high spots between Jeff's death-defying moves, getting crushed by a ladder, the belt, the screwdriver.
We're not talking about the screwdriver because that was... Okay, hang on. Ow, I gotta peel a cat off me.
But
I'm pretty...
Before you interrupt...
Yeah, go for it.
Before you interrupt, those bright spots sprinkled throughout it, this match actually did not live up to the hype that I had really thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah,
now
no.
You can go ahead.
I was going to say, this was not the match I thought it was going to be, where, you know, as I predicted it, as I said in the prediction video, I expected to see Jeff go for a swanton from the top of the fucking cage and nail Randy Orton. They didn't leave the cage, and as far as I'm aware, it never intended to be, because if you look at it, sometimes you can tell when a certain section's been gimmicked. That being said, this was a crazy good match but it was a spot fest of hardcore spots. I mean, you have Randy Orton pummeling Jeff with chairs and the aforementioned compression of the ladder on top of Jeff, beating Jeff with the inside of his own belt. Fun fact, my sister owned one of those belts for many years. I never got to.
I have 3.
Yeah.
I have 3 of them in my closet.
Yeah. So, seeing not only Jeff get beat with it, but then turned around and on Randy, who was subsequently busted open by it.
Oh my gosh, the belt shot he took where you could see all of the studs.
Yeah.
That was I don't want to say it was incredible, but it was interesting to see that he was able to hit him at that amount of pressure and get an entire stud line.
Oh yeah.
And then the chunk of flesh hanging off of Randy's leg.
I completely I didn't catch how it happened, but I saw it and it was like, "Oh dude, no, you need to get the fuck out the ring."
Yeah, this was a rough match. Again, it was insane. We got the death-defying stunt from Jeff.
Yeah, the screwdriver spot wasn't necessary, and I wouldn't recommend watching that spot if you're squeamish in the least. Just skip it. You don't need to see it. Yeah, no.
Although anyone with stretched ears already knows that hurts.
Oh yeah. See, here was my thing, and speaking as kind of a movie, more in the movie buff sense. I expected on this spot for it to be a prosthetic, kind of a wax or silicone ear part, because for me that would have made sense. Okay, yes, you can do that spot because you now have this part. But then I saw it and I was like, no, that's real.
So I know we're griping about the ear situation. I keep tugging on my ear.
Yeah. No, I get the anxiety.
So when you stretch your ears like that, this doesn't hurt often. It's only when you're really stretching them. And yes, it looked bad, but you could tell by the way that Orton was holding Jeff's ear, by the way that Orton was holding the screwdriver, it was all for show. It was only twisting enough to the point where it would naturally twist. He wasn't twisting it any harder to the point where he was ripping the lobe. They practiced that spot ahead of time because that's somebody's ear.
Yeah, that was Jeff's call. That was entirely Jeff's call.
And
Guaranteed.
it got the reaction that they wanted, though.
Yeah. The ending with oh fuck, the end where Jeff attempts. I guess he was gonna do like a splash onto Randy Orton, who was on the table from the top of the cell, hanging from the crossbars.
Well, the way he was hanging and swinging, it almost looked like he was just gonna monkey flip on him.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna see some kind of mid-air shooting star press-esque thing, you know, where he's swinging back and forth, he's swinging north and south, and then as he's flipping south, he just completes it, you know, complete 360, nailed. But instead,
that would have been interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people complain that Randy rolled too early, that it wasn't believable, but in my head, and especially with the way that they explained it later, it made sense. Jeff didn't intentionally let go. He slipped. It's
no, that was an intentional let go.
No, in the sense of kayfabe. That made sense.
So how are you going to get back down?
Yeah, Jeff being Jeff.
There's only one way down.
Well, there was also a ladder.
Yeah, that he was on the other side of the ring.
The ladder was very close to him. It was right in the center. He had only gone a couple feet. Yeah, trying to get away from that, like I said, wasn't going to be a 100% great thing, but him missing, you know, like losing his grip, falling into the table, that channel, that scanned for me. And then we get the ref, you know, having the cage lifted, calling for the EMTs, and Orton's basically telling the ref to do his fucking job and gets the pinfall victory here. I don't even care I was wrong. This was a good match.
It was, I mean, I give it 3 out of 5. Yeah. It was a strong opener.
Oh, yeah.
Should we move on to the second match of the night, which I thought was going to be much later in the night?
Oh, yeah. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I love this match. This strong contender for match of the night for me. And that's because there was a lot of starting out with a lot of chain wrestling, showing that these women are very technically proficient and have a check and counter for each other's moves, and then moving swiftly into the entirety of the match where they're doing spots concerning Becky's leg and Charlotte's arm, and using that in-ring psychology, that in-ring storytelling. That was beautiful. And I have to say, standout spot for the night for me had to be the single arm sit out powerbomb by Charlotte. It's always impressive to see her do it, and with the amount of
it safely.
Yeah, with the amount of punishment that she took in that match on that arm to do it anyway, just was wonderful. And then getting rolled into the disarmer. Oh, yes. Great. Fucking Becky still wins after I want to say she like hit a fucking DDT or something on this, because Charlotte, after getting through the whole sequence, nails her with a spear.
Yeah, so that was literally the finish. Charlotte hit the spear, but Becky was able to flip over and immediately pin Charlotte. That was the finish.
Yeah, the way it looked, she didn't just flop over. Sorry, hit my mic. She got hit and rolled with it. That's why I say she hit something to give her that momentum to carry her over into the pinfall. And another great spot was her still holding the disarmer while Charlotte was on the outside of the ring apron. Like she had her back to the ropes, holding the arm through. Great spot.
No, because out of all the matches that were for this event, this was the one I was looking most forward to. I mean, it's a grudge match. It's a title match. I mean, the crowd was clearly behind Becky.
Oh yeah.
Did you hear that security? So one of the girls on Twitter, she goes to all of the big pay-per-views,
Mm-hmm.
and she had a "Boo the Woo" sign. She was
yeah.
in charge of all those people with the "I boo the woo."
Hashtag boo the woo.
But security took one of her booklets.
One of I guess she had a whole couple
She had like
booklets of them.
she had a couple booklets, and security ended up taking one of the booklets.
It's like, no.
She didn't do anything wrong. It was
Yeah.
it was a cute little thing.
Yeah, it was great. I love the fact that I got to see it. This match, I also love the interaction between Charlotte and Becky at the end, with Charlotte attempting to be, you know, the face that she's supposed to be, and Becky's like, I'm not gonna let you overshadow me or something like that about her night. It's that's great.
So it was great to see Becky win the title. I think I'm not mad she won the title. I thought it would have been cooler if maybe she won it at the women's exclusive pay-per-view. But we're going to see Charlotte versus Becky at Evolution.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is going to be the rematch.
That's happening.
But I held this match in the same regards as Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy. I thought it was like 3 out of 5.
Yeah, this was a damn good match.
But moving on to probably one of my favorite matches of the night.
Yep.
Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre versus Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. So I wasn't expecting. So anytime Dean and Seth are in the ring, and anytime McIntyre and Drew or Dolph are in the ring, I don't know why I keep calling Dolph Drew. It's it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think this could have potentially come across as a match of the year candidate for Hell in a Cell 2018.
Yeah.
But I was actually pleasantly surprised because these guys have competed in some of the best matches that Raw has put on over the summer.
Yeah,
the moniker have become.
Yeah, the moniker workhorses is very apt for all 4 of these guys. It's well earned, and I bet they could keep this going on through WrestleMania if they really wanted to, and I would love to see it.
This is the standard of a classic tag team match. It starts off slow, builds up, you have a satisfying conclusion, you get the 2-on-2 contest, and the hot tags, the heel work, the comebacks from the baby faces, the near falls. These guys know each other so well that these guys cannot put on a bad match. Kudos to all 4 of them, because they did their part in the ring and made this one of the most entertaining matches of the night.
Oh, hell yeah. And
the ending was perfect.
Yeah, okay, for brevity's sake, ending comes Drew McIntyre fucking out of goddamn space and time just fucking appears like Thanos, just whoosh, I'm here, bitches. And as Seth has Dolph, after hitting did he hit the blockbuster from the top rope and then was going for the Falcon Arrow after getting the hot tag on Dean? And
I think so.
Fucking Dean gets pulverized as he tries to take out McIntyre on the outside. McIntyre rolls into the ring as Dolph is vertical at this point. Seth turns around, eats a fucking Claymore kick, and that
kick is so pretty.
They just collapsed. It was like watching a demolition, a controlled demolition. Just poosh, they're down on the mat, and Dolph Ziggler got lucky, falling on top of Seth Rollins for the 3 count. And what I loved most was Drew McIntyre didn't waste any time. Grabbed the title belts, threw Dolph Ziggler over his shoulders, and started making his way up the ramp. It was perfect. It's like, okay,
what you want to see.
We escaped. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Time to go home.
Yep. And fucking Dean was beside himself trying to get up there.
Oh,
Great.
I love seeing Dean. I can't wait for that heel turn.
Oh yeah, I wrote on here. This was an explosive match that was capped off in such a way as to breed a rivalry that will last for a long time.
God. Absolutely, that's my match of the night. To be honest,
it definitely deserves to be up there. Next,
well, so because all of the matches, in my opinion, were all very solid. I didn't deviate too much, but
oh yeah,
God, they got 4.5 out of 5 from me on this one, and I tend to be a little stingy with my rates.
This is very true. Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. God, these two have the best in-ring chemistry of any singles competitors that I've seen in quite a long time. And I love the fact that they let Samoa Joe continuously display his athleticism. He's a big man and he moves like a goddamn cruiserweight, to quote Morrow. And there's never ending supplies of him countering and being vicious and showing he's got technical acumen. What was it? It looked like there for a second he was going to go for a muscle buster, which was going to throw many people into conniptions, but I would have loved it. It's like
let the conniptions begin.
Breaking out the muscle buster against AJ Styles. AJ knows how to take it, guaranteed. There's no way he would have even thought about it if he was unsure. And Joe knows how to do it. And God.
I mean, you have to. So AJ and Joe's match at SummerSlam was probably one of the best matches at SummerSlam.
Oh yeah.
This Hell in a Cell match, it was an entertaining match. It was slightly above the previous their previous meeting, not SummerSlam, but on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
They stuck to the stuff they know that works. You know, the stiff strikes, the counters, the slams, the submissions. I mean, AJ took a beating in this one.
He come out with a
face all bloodied
mouth,
up.
yeah. And I feel like the stiff strikes were shown a little harder than usual to not only convey that these guys are, amping up the rivalry, but also the fact that these two guys have gone to the next level in said rivalry.
So my only issue with this match is that the pace would speed up and then slow so down.
Yeah.
But they were able to wake up the crowd each time they started to slow down. Examples being Joe's lariat, the springboard from AJ, the blood always pops people.
Yeah.
But the ending is really what bothers me.
Oh yeah. It's like I wrote here, the ending was insane, with AJ Styles retaining despite the fact that he tapped out. It's like, no.
Well, it's a lot. I'm going to say this. I like it better than the both competitors with their shoulders on the mat.
Yeah.
I've already done that with AJ. I like the idea that, Joe is the submission specialist. AJ taps at the same time the ref hits 3. Yeah. Technically is a double DQ, but I had to follow what the ref's standing was.
Yeah, I mean, the through line on that was the referee's decision stands because his in-ring decision is final. However, and I have to say it, even I think Michael Cole pointed out, or it was Corey Graves that pointed it out, the ref was at like 2.5, and AJ tapped. Personally, and I can't believe AJ didn't just, give it to him. Because I've been in submission holds. You tapped out. You can't argue that you didn't because you know what you did. And it's a conscious decision. So with AJ getting the belt and then, Samoa Joe stealing the belt, and yeah, that's not cool. But not going like, no, yeah, I mean, how are we going to settle this? I tapped out. He's got to admit it.
look, granted, the controversial ending, it kind of stunk in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
but this is how they're going to hype up their third matchup at the Super Showdown. It's going to be, well, you got pinned, well, you tapped out. It's going to be AJ versus Joe part 2 for the WWE Championship. It's going to make it amazing.
Yeah.
All things considered.
Personally, and I was thinking about this on the way home, I thought, you know what would be great for their third match? Submission. Submission only. AJ has the.
I think they need to.
AJ has the
He
calf
does.
crusher and can win with it.
He has the calf crusher, but he needs more submissions.
Yeah.
Joe is a submission machine.
And
He's
that's
obviously the person that's going to be walking in as the top dog in that match.
yeah, and I think Joe would play to that strength, which is because he asked for no DQ, no count out, just a clear ending, right? And in my head, he's going to come back on Tuesday and say, you know, I made the decision about the type of match I want. There's a lot of them out there that fit this description. I know what I want. Give me a submission match, because at that point you can start playing into the fact that he's got more than just the coquina clutch, that he can do variant other things, and that AJ, while being supremely technically efficient in the air, in his strikes, in his moves, doesn't have that deep a well of submissions, and it'll be great. But speaking of things that I didn't think were very great,
Moving on to the weakest match of the show.
fucking Miz and Maurice versus Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. There was so much tagging in and out to this. I fucking hated this match. Maurice steals the win with a fucking handful of tights after a ring run around shenanigans. To hell with this match. I would have taken a piss break.
Yeah, really, this is just a gap placed in between Miz and Daniel's feud.
Yeah.
It was a letdown considering that the two men have had such amazing matches.
Mm-hmm.
Brie and Maurice really, I don't want to just say Brie and Maurice, but Maurice, in my opinion, it was just the women's portion of it was really tame.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything to make the match interesting. It didn't hype them up for an Evolution match.
Nope. And she's not even going to be facing. She's not even going to be facing Maurice at Evolution. She's teaming up with her sister and the baddest woman on the planet, Ronda Rousey,
Yeah. Forgot
against
about that.
fucking Riot Squad.
Let's go, Riot Squad.
Moving on. Speaking of the baddest woman on the planet, Ronda Rousey, it's now time for her title defense against Alexa Bliss. Fucking Rousey sold. And Bliss was just that perfect heel. So when the gear switched, when I think it was Alexa Bliss was like mocking her growl and then tried to choke her one-handed, fucking Rousey stood the fuck up. I think I would have just went, okay, no, you win. Because I had her on her, have her on her knees, and I've got her by the neck, and I can't, succeed in keeping her there. She just wills herself to her goddamn feet, and then it's over. Because, yeah, no. I
mean,
I loved this match. This was a good women's match.
I mean, it held up with the rest of the matches. I gave it a 3. The biggest, aside from the fact that Ronda Rousey can sell an injury, the one thing that really killed me in this match was Alicia Fox's outfit.
I don't know what the fuck she was thinking, but somebody needs to up her dosage. My dear, there's a reason why we have recommended servings for that kind of stuff. It's supposed to help you.
Should we move on to this trash of an ending for this last match?
You know what?
Hold on, a Hell in a Cell match should never end in no contest. First of all,
Oh,
the amount
fuck
of
yeah.
party crashers that were in this match, ooh, people need to get talked to.
Oh,
As
yeah.
much as I loved seeing my 4 favorite men come out and
I
completely
had
destroy each other on top of that cell.
I had no love for the end of this match. And I'll be honest, I was because the husband had to be up very, very early this morning because he had to be at work at 3 a.m. I didn't. I was exhausted by the time this match started. So I tried to go back and rewatch the entire pay-per-view today so I would be caught up.
Let me just do this for you then. So
I know how it
first of
ended.
all,
I know how it ended.
this was not a complete match, in all honesty. Because we didn't, again, Hell in a Cell matches should never end in a no contest.
Yeah.
This was it had your usual crash and burn moments. Because Strowman and Roman ended up throwing everything but the kitchen sink at each other. Just because that's not underneath the ring.
Yeah. I loved how Strowman got a kendo stick, decided, nah, that's not good enough. Goes for the chair. Fucking Roman comes in, starts beating the shit out of him with it. He grabs it from Roman and breaks it in half. Just like no.
Poor kendo sticks.
No, fuck you. You are not good enough for me. You are not taking me down.
Even though they did all of these extra things, they didn't go the distance. So, like, when all that outside madness was occurring, Roman and Strowman just kind of became the afterthoughts. They weren't a part of that chaos, even inside the ring. The ending really bothers me because just as like Roman and Strowman were really gonna kick it off into like, I don't want to say the climax of the match, but right into third gear, that's when we get Ziggler, McIntyre, Rollins, and Ambrose out on ringside, continuing their issues on top of the cage, beating each other up. Thought we were gonna have somebody fall through the cage because we're all in that mesh. Instead of seeing Roman or Strowman crash through that table, Rollins and Ziggler. Oh, hold on, never mind. I had a weird little thing. Rollins and Ziggler end up taking the spots on the side of the ring, going through the Spanish and the English announce tables, because we got to have that. If you were to put Seth and Dean's Hell in a Cell match and line it up with what Seth and Ziggler just did, it would have been identical.
Oh yeah.
Did anybody else have that flashback?
Wow, I didn't even think about it.
just when everything started to calm outside in the ring, we hear this music go off.
Yep.
And Brock Lesnar is back. He's come back with Paul Heyman. They ran out, caused even more mayhem. Mick Foley gets sprayed with pepper spray. Brock Lesnar invoked the spirit of Kane and busted down the cell door.
Yep.
And then proceeded to lay waste to his two most hated rivals. I mean, we got a little bit of in-ring action, but this was all for the spectacle. This was all about making it an entertaining match, which it was an entertaining match. The only issue is that ending was trash.
Oh yeah, that ending was garbage. Fucking Mick Foley comes to, sees that both men are down, and goes, well, that's about it. Bring it. No. You don't do that. There are no countouts. There are no disqualifications. If you find two guys here, on the one hand, yeah, you don't want to end that way, and on the other hand, just to give give the devil his due, the fuck do you even do? Personally, if I'm Mick Foley, I know what I'm doing, because I'm screwed anyway. It doesn't matter. I just got ganked. I would have laid Roman over top, counted 1, 2, 3, and said, "Fuck you, Stephanie."
Well, and I wonder if that's going to play into anything tonight. If we might potentially see Foley, I doubt it.
Oh yeah, no. They're apparently in Dallas, and the Dead Man will be there this evening, which means the Dead
Man shall be there.
Which means we probably won't see him till about 9.
Or in the final hour.
God damn it! Somebody. Somebody get me a Four Loko. I want to make it through this shit.
So, but we can agree that the match of the night was Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre versus Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Yes?
Yes. The men's match of the night was that. And the women's match of the night, I gotta say...
I'm not talking about men and women match. I'm just talking about the match of the night because I didn't...
Straight up. Then it running a very close second for me was Becky and Charlotte. That was so much catharsis, so much good work, so much good in-ring storytelling that I can't deny that it was great.
So, I'm going to go ahead and start closing out the show with my final thoughts.
Please do.
The pay-per-view was actually managed to be worth watching. Mm-hmm. Obviously, as we just said, the Raw Tag Team Champion match stole the show. The rest of the titles ended up playing out the way they were supposed to. Mm-hmm. We got that amazing grudge match from Becky and Charlotte, which had a satisfying ending and what guarantees we're going to get more.
Yep.
Obviously, I think we were in agreement that the mixed tag match was trash, and now I'm not looking forward to the mixed tag challenge.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of foresaw that though. I guess it's not surprising when you know that it's going to be shitty that it turns out to be even shittier than you thought it would be.
So. And then the actual cell matches were actually pretty tame, considering what the match stipulations actually are and what the match is about.
Yeah.
Again, just
there's no
props to all of the stars, but there was just something missing.
Yeah, for me, I think that the thing that I would classify under you basically, for me, you get a B-. You did better.
I gave it a C+.
I mean, you did better than your average, which would have been a C-D, but you had the opportunity to grab for the stars. You put in effort on a lot of this, but on other areas you suffered heavily, and it made the whole thing worse. Having Brock Lesnar come back to trash Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns didn't need to happen, especially with all the other shit that was going on outside the ring. He could have waited till tonight. Roman saying, I managed to successfully defend, and then fucking Brock comes out and cleans his clock, while the two are in the ring jaw-jacking. It would have been great.
I will say, even with the somewhat disappointing Hell in a Cell matches, the show was really good, and I think it was because the show ended at like 10:30 my time. I was a little confused because usually and it might be because we just got through SummerSlam, which was like a 6-hour ordeal.
Oh yeah, that was a goddamn eternity.
Because that was like a 2-hour pre-show and then like a 4.5-hour show, so it was actually really nice to be done before 11 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we should probably close this out.
Yep. And I want to close by saying thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share all those wonderful things down below. Hit the bell for the notifications. Follow the show on Twitter at InMoshPit. Please let us know your thoughts there. Or you can hit us both up on Twitter. I'm at RobRandomRoms. She's the Heavy Metal Hippie. And we will see you all tomorrow night for the Raw review. Later.
Bye.